Let's give a shout out to our sponsor, Aura. It's been a month since Elon and Doge have been going through the federal government cutting unnecessary waste and spending, and you know it's making all the right people go insane. Every single thing he does is a major news cycle, and the media can't stop complaining about it. Did you know that in 2023, disgruntled Tesla workers released the private information of customers as an act of revenge against Elon? Now just think about what disgruntled legacy federal employees can do. Those workers have access to all kinds of data. It's important to make sure your information is safe. That is where today's sponsor, Aura, comes in. Aura is your all-in-one solution for identity theft protection, scams, and online threats. Aura offers comprehensive protection that includes $1 million coverage for identity theft losses. That means if your identity is compromised, you have a safety net to help recover your losses. Plus, with 24/7 U.S.-based support, you will never be alone when facing fraud. Aura uses bank-level security standards to keep your data safe and never sells your information to third parties. And if you're not satisfied, they offer a 60-day money-back guarantee. Try it risk-free. With features like real-time alerts for financial fraud, a robust VPN for secure browsing, and parental controls to keep your kids safe online, Aura ensures that every aspect of your digital life is protected. So why wait? Stop leaving yourself vulnerable to data breaches. Go to my sponsor, aura.com/Tim, to get a 14-day free trial and see if any of your data has been exposed. That's AURA.com/Tim. The New York Times is basically saying that ADHD was a scam. They say, have we been thinking about ADHD all wrong? With diagnoses at a record high, some experts have begun to question our assumptions about the condition and how to treat it. Except South Park questioned it a long time ago, where they played a video and the doctor was like, our new treatment for ADHD is non-medical, non-invasive. Simply approach the child, and then he walks up to the kid and he slams the table and says, sit down and study. And the kid just gets right to it and starts reading, and the other kids are shaking. And he goes, once the treatment is administered to one child, the others fall in line as well. So the crazy thing about this that I think needs to be brought up right away, check this out. They say there was another distressing result they noticed in their data, a physiological one. The children who took Ritalin for an extended period grew less quickly than the non-medicated children did. By the end of those 36 months, subjects who had consistently taken stimulant medication were on average more than an inch shorter than the ones who had never received medication. Many of the scientists in the MTA group assumed this height suppression in childhood would be temporary, that the shorter children would catch up during adolescence. But when data was collected again 9 years after the initial experiment, the height gap remained. In 2017, Swanson and the MTA group published another follow-up, this time tracking the subjects until age 25. The ones who had consistently taken stimulant medication remained about an inch shorter than their peers. Their ADHD symptoms, meanwhile, were no better than those who had stopped taking the medication or who never even started. Excuse me, that is to say, men out there, everybody, think about this. The New York Times says when they put you on that ADHD medication, you'll be short. You'll be an inch or more shorter than you would have been. I think that if a lot of these men knew that being put on this drug would do this to them in their adulthood, they would say absolutely not. More importantly, I think most people are starting to realize when you take young men who are spunky and full of energy and want to run around like kids, you put them in a room and say, sit down and shut up, and they're sitting there shaking. It is not an illness. It is called being male. So I visited some family friends, my wife's friends, and they had a son and a daughter, and they were very close in age. And they said, you know what's really funny? One day, the boy started running around smashing things, and the girl started running around taking them and trying to protect them. And we didn't teach them to do this. They just did. And yes, boys and girls are different. Men and women are different.
They are.
So when they start drugging children en masse, and I think it's like, what, a fifth of kids are getting these drugs? It's not because the kids, anything's wrong with them.
I think the data point that I saw in the article earlier was 23% of 17-year-olds currently, which is 1 in 4. 1 in 4.
Yep, 23% of 17-year-olds. Look at this. 15.5% of American adolescents, 21% of 14-year-old boys, and 23% of 17-year-old boys. 7 million American children have received an ADHD diagnosis. up from 6 million in 2016.
And what happens between 14 and 17? High school. That's when you get hit with the high school teachers. So the 17-year-olds have a higher rate because they've spent more time in high school and had a high school teacher say, "Oh, this kid needs a prescription." It's such a scam, man. It's so bad.
I wonder how much.
You know what's really fascinating is that school sucks. And everyone knows it sucks. Kids have been saying school sucks forever, and parents don't listen. And there is something functionally wrong with this country that children every day say, I hate this.
Well,
Yeah.
This is not what human life is supposed to be. We're supposed to be working towards goals. Go back 200 years. The kids would wake up early and work with their parents. And sure, kids would be like, oh, I want to go hang out with my friends and things like this. But you weren't supposed to hate where you were at all hours of the day to the point where you get bullying and you get shootings and you get other nonsense. These schools are being run miserably, and that is why we must abolish the Department of Education.
Well, among
Absolutely.
others. But I mean, look, there's evidence that, or the way that schools are designed is to train kids for a world that doesn't exist anymore. Most kids are not going to get out of school and go and work in a factory, and that was kind of the design.
But that's the scheduling structure with the bells ringing and all that.
Yeah.
Schools today are just miserable places to be where kids are not, typically the teachers don't like you.
Yeah, they're a vestige of the past. That's why we should get rid of them.
Well, I mean, I don't even think they were functional when they were implemented as means of training kids to work in factories. The fact of the matter is, kids always learn from their parents and their communities. They had neighbors. The son would work with the dad from a young age and learn the dad's craft. And the daughter would work with the mother and learn the mother's craft. And now what we've created is we give our children off to the state to put them in an institutionalized learning facility where the kids don't actually learn and they're miserable. And then the teachers start telling those kids, start lying to their parents. This whole thing is broken. And when young men who are disagreeable say, I don't like this place, they go, he needs drugs. It is a nightmare dystopia happening before our very eyes, and it's time to put an end to it.
There's more distractions today than there was a decade ago as well. Cell phones in the classroom, all sorts of things that are targeted at the teen generation as far as marketing. And I think that the pharmaceutical company's business practice of creating forever customers and giving kickbacks to physicians and doctors that prescribe these medications in the first place kind of plays hand in hand with perhaps these data points we're looking at.
My child is not going to go on the internet until she's 50.
That's a solid plan. Like Steve Jobs was famous for not allowing his kids any technology.
Yep.
None. I can make the argument that the Ritalin generation is the reason we have smartphones, the reason we have tablets, and the reason we have social media in the form that they are. Because parents saw how Ritalin was affecting their children. Like, nah, we're creating zombies. We can't do this. We need a different way to control our children and pacify them. So guess what? Social media comes along. And guess what? Here's your new babysitter. I don't have to put you in front of a TV anymore. I can just put a tablet in your hand and I can still watch the TV shows that I cared about.
Yeah, I say nah, none of that. My kid is not going to have any tablets or phones. I will get a computer with no internet, so she can learn basic computer stuff. We will have a touch screen. We will have tablets, but no internet. No internet. None. No. We're gonna get. She's gonna use a 1994 Dell PC with a Pentium 2 processor, and it's gonna have Math Blaster and Number Muncher on it, and Oregon Trail. And she's gonna play the games I play.
Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail.
Oregon
I can
Trail.
go with a
ever-
The original.
You died of
lobbyist
dysentery.
Oregon Trail.
Does anyone remember Deep Cut Prairie Dog Hunter?
Yes.
No, what is that?
Yeah. Is that
Prairie
yes?
Dog Hunter?
Prairie
Wait, maybe.
yeah. Because it had the most epic sound effects ever. You would shoot the prairie dog and it would be like, "Ee!"
That came on the Apple IIe along with Oregon Trail. Yes.
It was on. I was never an Apple guy, but I had Jetpack. I had a bunch of those games.
Jetpack.
Jetpack was awesome.
Yes,
you
so-
can make your own levels.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I want that kind of stuff for my kid, where I want some of the newer things, but I don't trust a lot of this modern stuff. You know, these modern kids shows are horrifying, and they're not educational.
But you know what?
Mr. Rogers.
You know what it is? It's because of the frame rates. It's with frame rates and it's the skipping of content. So the way the scenes switch over and over and over. And that's one thing, you know, I'll just chill it for a second. But like the Brave Books guys, they have a new Brave Plus that's out right now. And Kirk Cameron was doing the whole Iggy and Mr. Kirk thing. So they've also launched, it's on Roku and smart TVs, a show or a channel that you can just go and download for free, where you get Iggy and Kirk and you get like some of it for free and then you can buy the rest of it. But they've also brought back a lot of those like 90s cartoons, and they specifically track it to make sure it doesn't have those fast scene skips that would lock someone into this like ADHD sort of state the way that the new stuff does. And they were walking me through it the other day, and I was like, that's actually fascinating, because I know that when my kids, and we've like banned all that stuff from my house, I didn't realize that before I had kids. I was like, what? Why is this like show like a Paw Patrol kind of show? Content wise is fine. Like, I know there's a couple woke episodes.
Wait. Paw Patrol?
Most of Paw
Is that
Patrol,
where the animals speak English like people? My child will not be watching any of that furry garbage. That is furry indoctrinating content, and my child will not watch it. I told my wife, no Bambi. She's like, but Bambi is good. No Bambi.
What about Winnie the Pooh?
No.
Okay, but only the live action Snow White.
What about Fraggle Rock?
None. No, I hate Muppets.
Darn those Fraggles.
We're gonna raise her like it's the 1800s, and we're gonna convince her technology doesn't exist.
Oh, so you want to go back?
I am kidding, by the way.
You want to go back? You want to go back before Schoolhouse Rock, and I think Schoolhouse Rock should absolutely be taught in every home.
The only
We're gonna tell her the
Raise
year
your
is
hand, raise your hand.
1836.
the only
Who learned
anthropomorph-
more from Schoolhouse Rock than they did from school about how government actually works?
The only
I'm just saying.
anthropomorphized things that should be allowed are bills.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Explain to the child how bills become law, and that's acceptable.
Wasn't
She's
there?
gonna do chores on the farm. She's gonna take care of the chickens. We're gonna get a garden going. We're gonna get a mini cow, and she's gonna do work.
Wasn't there a Simpsons episode where they did, or the Simpsons or South Park, I forget, and they did a parody of Schoolhouse Rock? They're like, "Here's how it really works." You're like, "I'm a bill. I'm a lobbyist."
Simpsons.
Absolutely.
Oh, Simpsons. Yeah.
All right,
It was like a bunch of money.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.